Kent State is the first university to offer a suicide prevention course. Learn about the importance of suicide awareness and what students have said about the class.
Construction will begin on this historic Kent State University monument. What happened and how long it will take to return the memorial to its original state.
And the civil fraud trial of former President Trump continues, what his defense was and the allegations he'll face.
And if you like getting scared year-round, then Universal has you covered. All these spooky stories and more as your Wednesday evening TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, Portage County. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Josh Aponte.
And I'm Matt Caroli. Josh, we begin tonight with a class that's being offered here at Kent State that is looking to cause history.
Yeah, that is right, Matt. TV2's Kennedy Gotham is here to tell us more about Kent State's suicide prevention course. Hi, Kennedy.
Yeah, that's right, guys. I talked to the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation and Kent State University about this course today.
Suicide prevention course is now available at Kent State. The course helps to prepare students to properly interact with people who are suicidal and give them the help they need.
Just kind of different public health suicide prevention approaches before actually going out into the field in the real life, right after they graduate.
The curriculum went through 3 pilot programs at different universities, but Kent State was the first school to offer the class.
And that they're having a chance to consider what it would be like to work with a person in a professional capacity like that, as well as in their own lives, because many of us have had lived experience on a personal level with suicide or suicidality.
The course is offered at the Tuscarora, Salem, and Ashtabula campus through the College of Applied Technical Studies, but any Kent State University student can take the class.
We had the chance to offer it, and it's my hope that this is something that extends through a lot more universities, because we need to be having these conversations.
The goal of the course is to get students more comfortable having conversations about suicide and help people who are struggling.
It is making them a little bit less scared about going out in the field and potentially encountering a person who's experiencing some of these feelings.
For the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation, they hope the program is adopted nationwide.
If this starts to catch on, again, that dream that I mentioned about every institution having a suicide prevention course, that might become a reality.
So, Kennedy, what students are taking this class and how can it be helpful for them?
Yeah, so a lot of the students who are taking this come from all different backgrounds. They have nursing students, they have psychology students, students that are in the criminal justice field. And an example that the 2 people I spoke to gave me was if someone is wanting to be a nurse and they have a patient who is suicidal, this course kind of teaches them how to handle a situation like that and be prepared when they go out into the real world.
So, taking a look at the class itself, what makes it so unique compared to other classes taught at other universities?
Yeah, so they told me that typically in a class like this, they only have a lecture or maybe 2 about it, but this is a 15-week course that goes in depth with suicide prevention and gives people the tools, and then they can take that out into the community and really help people.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kennedy. And the Kent State LGBTQ+ Center is holding an event tonight called Love is Love. Love Shouldn't Hurt. Their website says the purpose is to raise awareness about healthy and unhealthy relationships and to learn tools to help identify unhealthy characteristics. The event is being held right now in the Williamson Alumni Center until 8 p.m.
Earlier today, the Kent State LGBTQ+ Health Center put together a roundtable discussion centered on International Pronoun Day at the Kent Student Center from 1 to 2. The conversation centered around the day's history, the importance of pronouns as a whole, and how to recover if you make a mistake. It takes place every 3rd Wednesday of October, and the holiday is celebrating its 6th year today. And back in August, a storm caused a number of branches to strike and damage part of the granite May 4th Memorial located next to Taylor Hall. Since that occurred 5 weeks ago, university leaders have been working hard to get it back to its original state. Officials say that it will take around 5 to 6 months to finish, pending approval to proceed with the project.
Well, Matt, with the fall season in full blast, that can only mean one thing.
What's that?
The dreaded snow is coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, it may not feel like it now, guys,
Yep.
but we're going to get to like November, December, and that snow's just going to
It's
kill
gonna
us.
hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, our own Sophia Sainato is here, and Sophia, should we expect that snow anytime soon?
I am happy to report that we should not be expecting that snow
There we
anytime
go.
soon. I'll tell you in a little bit, we're actually facing some pretty mild temperatures, and for our homecoming game on Saturday, for trick-or-treaters on Halloween, we're looking at some pretty solid temperatures that are standard for this season. Speaking of those temperatures, good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. It's time for your report on the weather as we head over the hump of the week. Looking at our conditions currently in Kent, Ohio, it feels like 59 degrees, which for October is not common at all. To be quite frank with all of you, it does feel like 58 degrees right now. The wind is affecting that temperature just slightly, but today's been a pretty solid day temperature-wise. I had a really nice walk on campus, and I hope you did too. Our dew point is at 40 degrees. The wind is north at 6 miles an hour. The humidity is at 49%. We have full visibility at 10 miles. Moving into my forecast for tomorrow, it is a high of 63. We have cloudy skies with light rain later in the day, and it is going to be windy. As you can see, I have the wind forecasted to be going southwards at 12 miles an hour, and your sunset will be at 6:38 p.m. So make sure to bring your umbrellas and be careful for the wind when using them. Moving into my on-campus forecast of the day, at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's going to be 47 degrees and cloudy, so my folks with 8 a.m.s, be sure to bring a jacket. Once we reach 12 o'clock, it's going to be cloudy and windy, with a little bit of sun peeking through, but not much, at 58 degrees. And by the time you're getting out of your afternoon classes, going to evening ones, it's going to be 61 degrees, cloudy, and no rain at that point in the day yet, but there is a chance of rain later on in the evening. And that is all I have for now. Stay tuned for my next block where we'll dive into temperatures across the state of Ohio, and I'll let you know how much more rain we'll have to put up with, especially with the festivities scheduled for homecoming this Saturday. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, thanks, Sophia. That's good to hear. Now transitioning to state news. A lawsuit is looking to block schools in Ohio from changing how students learn to read. State lawmakers approved changes in the two-year budget that require schools to use phonics-based curricula known as the science of reading. Governor Mike DeWine pushed for the new approach as he said that it would improve Ohio's dismal reading proficiency. But Reading Recovery Council of North America, which is based out of Worthington, filed the lawsuit as it would prohibit its programs under the new law. About 40% of third-grade students in Ohio are not proficient in reading.
A new bipartisan bill in the Ohio House could save you from losing medical coverage. The bill would stop insurance providers from dropping coverage of medications in the middle of a patient's yearly plan. Currently, insurance companies are allowed to change the medications they cover no matter the time period. House Bill 291 would prohibit any changes after a plan is chosen. The bipartisan bill will be heard in the upcoming weeks.
Legalizing marijuana in Ohio under Issue 2 would not lead to the automatic expungement for those charged with cannabis offenses, but the tax revenue from legalizing cannabis could address some criminal justice reform through the Social Equity and Jobs Program Fund. Expungement is a type of lawsuit where an individual would want their arrest or their conviction of a crime off their records. Issue 2 is a citizen initiative that is looking to legalize and regulate the cultivation, manufacturing, testing, and the sale of marijuana to Ohioans aged 21 and older.
And Democrats in the Ohio House want to change the state law regarding legalized same-sex marriage and interracial marriage. They are seeking to change the, quote, create parity in marriage law. The law would eliminate the Ohio Revised Code language that marriage may only be entered by one man and one woman. The clause has been in the Ohio law since 2004. The current law doesn't match up with the federal marriage law, which was allowed nationwide same-sex marriage back in 2015.
Coming up, I'll provide updates on Biden's visit to Israel today and the comments he and other diplomats have regarding a hospital in the Gaza area.
Another failed vote for a new House Speaker. How many votes short was Congressman Jim Jordan, and how this affects his future hopes of becoming the Speaker?
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. Akron City Council members passionately defended their unanimous support for the mayor's support of Israel Monday evening as some residents attacked the Jewish nation for its occupation of Palestinian territory.
The exchange began Monday afternoon in Council's Rules Committee as members spoke in support of a resolution offering condolences to Israel and condemning Hamas militants who launched a surprise terrorist attack, reportedly killing hundreds and injuring thousands on the morning of October 7th. We will now shift to our attention to more international news, Josh, as we have continued updates on that situation currently taking place in Israel.
That's right, Matt. TV2's Nikki Gasiewski is here with more updates about the conflicts. Hey, Nikki.
Hey, guys. So this week we're going to continue to focus on the Israeli-Palestinian war. International news has been full of American ties, been visits, mixed responses to what's happened to a hospital in Gaza, and how Hamas is spreading their message on the web. Amid the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas, President Biden visited Israel today. During his visit today, Biden met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In addition to meeting with Netanyahu, Biden also met with the Israeli War Council. While visiting, Biden, like other American politicians, expressed support for Israel, but encouraged the nation to practice resistance.
I was operating. I just finished one surgery, and suddenly we heard a big explosion. We thought it's outside the hospital because we never thought that they would bomb the hospital. The people ran in the operating theater screaming, help us, help us. Many patients, many people are injured, many people are dead.
Before Biden's visit today, a blast in a hospital in Gaza left hundreds dead in Gaza last night. Following the blast, Biden said a Palestinian militia group is responsible for the strike. Meanwhile, the U.S. intelligence community suggests the strike came from a rocket launch by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group. No final conclusion can be drawn since the evidence is still being gathered. Biden isn't the only government official giving a comment on who he believes is responsible for the hospital strike. CNN sat with Jordan's foreign minister, where he gave his own opposing opinion on the hospital strike.
Israel is ready to have an independent international investigation inquiry into this. Let it do that, and if that independent evidence points otherwise, then we'll deal with that then. But by now, no matter what Israel says, no matter what intelligence it produces, I'm just telling you that in the whole Arab Muslim world, nobody will believe that based on previous experiences and based on previous cases in which Israel first denied, and then when investigations were allowed, a different story emerged.
Amongst diplomatic visits and blasts occurring at hospitals, Hamas is being banned by Meta and Google. Nonetheless, they're thriving on Telegraph, with their accounts having between 400,000 and 700,000 followers. For Americans, Telegram is a global social media channel where Hamas has been posting their propaganda. Telegram is hesitant to remove Hamas content, with it recently warning civilians of the hospital blast. That's all I have for the news in international realm today, but you can always watch next week for more or check out KentWire.com. I'm Nikki Gasiewski, reporting for TV2 News.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now we're looking at temperatures in Northeast Ohio, which are looking pretty solid for what I would consider, the middle of October. Not expecting it to be this warm. Ashtabula, Youngstown, and Canton are all sitting at 58. Kent's at 59, and Worcester's and Mansfield are both at 57. Sandusky's up at 60, and Cleveland is over at 61 degrees. Moving across to the entire state of Ohio, Akron is at 58, Steubenville's at 57, and Athens is at 69. Everyone else is breaking that 60-degree mark, with Columbus at 61, as well as Lima, Dayton at 63, and Cincinnati really jumping in those temperatures at 66 degrees. Going into my 7-day forecast, tomorrow is a high of 63 with a low of 51. It's going to be rainy and windy, as I had mentioned before. On Friday, rain showers are likely with a high of 57 and a low of 44. On Saturday, with our homecoming game, rain is a little less likely, but it's still going to be chilly with a high of 52 and a low of 42. On Sunday, no more rain, so everyone can rejoice with that. With a high of 47 and 35, I will say that that is pretty solid considering the 3 days of rain we're going to be having for the rest of this week. Going into next week, our sun will return with a high of 54 and a low of 36. It's going to warm up on Tuesday with a high of 63 and a low of 49. And on Wednesday, our clouds will return a little bit, but we're still going to actually be really warm with a high of 67 and a low of 55. And that's all I have for you all tonight. With more information on your forecast in the coming days, be sure to come back to TV2 with all you will need to know. Reporting from the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Sophia Sainato. Back to you.
Thank you, Sophia. Today, Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan failed his second effort to become Speaker of the House. Jordan could only lose 4 votes in order to become House Speaker. A second failed vote raised questions over whether he has a viable path toward becoming the Speaker of the House. It remains as a state of question for some. Representatives are pushing to expand the powers of the interim Speaker, Republican Congressman Patrick Mahenry, for now. Jordan says that he plans to continue the fight to become Speaker.
Proceedings in the civil fraud trial in New York against former President Donald Trump continued today. Trump's attorney Lazaro Fields presented evidence against Doug Larson, a former appraiser at Cushman and Wakefield, and a witness in the trial. The defense accused Larson of perjuring himself during testimony when he claimed he didn't provide Trump's asset valuations to a former Trump company controller. Well, a familiar face in the NFL is here to stay. Why you can expect to see a whole lot of Roger Goodell down the line.
And the Houston Astros are in uncharted territory, down 2-0 and struggling this postseason. Can they turn it around in tonight's ALCS Game 3?
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
And NFL fans might celebrate, but most might boo, like just at the NFL draft. But NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has agreed to a contract extension that would lock him in until 2027.
Yeah, the Boo Birds have been coming to Goodell for as long as 2006 when he took over as commissioner of the league. This is his 18th season at the helm of the NFL, and he said in a press conference today that I'm honored to do this job, and for the next 3 years, I'm going to bust my butt. At least NFL fans, I'm sure, can appreciate that he's going to work hard.
That is true. That is true. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if the boos will continue for the next coming years until 2027.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think, Michael?
Well, certainly the owners like Roger Goodell, and they will keep him around for now. How's it going, Portage County? I'm Michael Neenan, and you know, whether it's near or far, we've got all the sports you need to know for today. So I say we start things off with the Kent State women's soccer team, who hosts Western Michigan for their final home game of the regular season tomorrow. Coming off a loss to Northern Illinois on Sunday, the Flashes look to redeem themselves as the Mid-American Conference playoff race heats up. The Flashes currently sit at 4th place in the conference and must remain in the top 6 to secure a postseason berth. Be sure to catch the game in Dick's Stadium at 7 p.m. Now let's move on to some playoff baseball, where the Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Philadelphia Phillies for Game 2 of the NLCS. Starting things off at the bottom of the first, Trey Turner, using his newfound dad strength, demolishes this ball for a home run to put the Phillies up 1-0. Man, I mean, get used to this, folks, because we're about to see another dinger from who else? Kyle Schwarber, who demolishes this ball. They say lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, sounds like a pretty loud, thunderous crack to me, because Kyle Schwarber will have 2 home runs on the game to put the Phillies up 3-0 at the bottom of the 6th. Later in the inning, men on first and second, Brandon Marsh, he hits a beautiful line drive down left field, which allows JT Realmuto to score and put the Phillies up 6-0. Marsh got a double as well. And speaking of JT Realmuto, at the bottom of the 7th, Realmuto hits down center field. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is there to get the ball, but Alec Boehm will be there to score to put the Phillies up 9-0, and the Phillies will go on to win 10-0. They currently have a 2-0 series lead. Speaking of the MLB playoffs, tonight is Game 3 between the Texas Rangers and Houston Astros. Currently, the Rangers lead this series 2-0 and look to take a commanding 3-0 series lead as they head back to Arlington. Things don't look good for Houston as they've given up home field advantage for the series. Texas has yet to lose a game this postseason, and I don't expect them to lose tonight. I predict the Rangers win convincingly. A player to watch is Astros designated hitter Yordan Alvarez, who went yard twice in Game 2, bringing his total to 6 home runs this postseason. Be sure to catch the game on Fox Sports. First pitch is at 8:03 p.m. And that's all I've got for today. Be sure to follow TV2 Sports on all social media platforms. I've been Michael Neenan, and let's get back to the news.
Well, Chick-fil-A lovers are gonna love this one. Bring out those oven mitts and those aprons. What the fast food chain is doing to bring its classic favorites and some new recipes.
If you're looking to get spooked all year long, then Universal has you covered. The movie studio is opening Universal Horror Unleashed, a 365-day horror experience. It'll be located in Las Vegas and is the first permanent attraction of its kind for the studio outside of its theme parks. As of now, there is no set date as to when Universal's horror will indeed unleash.
Matt, that sounds too scary for me, but if you're a fan of Chick-fil-A, then you're gonna want to get in on this one, because just make sure you got your cooking utensils ready. Now you can recreate the fast food chain's dishes at home whenever you want, thanks to their release of its first ever digital cookbook. The book is inspired by Chick-fil-A's Arid Table program, which is put together in hopes of raising awareness of food insecurity and food waste. There's a total of 26 recipes in the cookbook, but they also contain classic favorites, but also some new recipes that put a little bit of a twist on it, huh? That sounds pretty good, guys. I mean, I don't know. I do love me some Chick-fil-A.
For sure.
So some new recipes with a little bit of twist. I don't know.
I'm interested. For me, it's just, I'm really excited to get cooking with it.
There you go. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, make sure to follow us across social media at Kent Wired.
And also be sure to look out for updates on these stories at kentwired.com.
I'm Michael Neenan.
I'm Sophia Sainato.
I'm Matt Corrali.
And I'm Josh Aponte. Have a great night, Portage County.
This is Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Streaming online at kentwired.com.